Yeah.
What is up, everybody? Today it's just me and RJ. We're going to be talking about cannabis.
Cannabis. And other stuff.
And other stuff, of course.
And we're going to actually, so everybody get ready. I got a couple wireless headsets. I think they're actually waterproof as well, Fit Club branded, that I want to give away to 2 lucky participants on our chat today.
How do they win it, RJ?
They win it by, we have 6 songs. Okay, and we're going to see who beats Rick to answering these songs. Okay?
They'll win for sure.
And every song has a max of 45 seconds of playtime, and then the song is dead.
Sounds
Fair
good.
enough? Okay, we're going to do that after.
Before we get started, let me talk about today's sponsor, because it's this whole podcast is relative to his company.
Okay.
Vapeup.co, and in case you don't know the owner, my man Umesh, our man Umesh.
Mushy.
He's one of our members, and he's one of our biggest supporters. And Umesh, we love you, buddy. Anyways, research shows that CBD is an effective supplement for deep, restful sleep and overall health and well-being. Studies also show that it's great for decreasing inflammation and can help alleviate anxiety and stress. Available in tincture, edible, topical forms, and even in treats for your canine companion. Shop online, www.vapeup.co. That's the guy right there. Let's give him a little love. You'll also notice that he has provided us with a whole display of stuff today. Different, what would you call this? Different ways of consuming your cannabis and your CBD. So if you don't like smoking it, there's all kinds of other things to do. We're going to talk about it. Before we get started, you want to hit me up with this contest?
Let's go somewhere first. Let's let some audience get on first.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
So we got a couple people online, but let's gather them up.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Well, while we're doing that, let me read something to you. The reason why I wanted to do this, I'm going to read you an article that is from Sanjay Gupta. Do you know who that is?
Sanjay Gupta?
Sanjay Gupta. He's a neurosurgeon, and he's CNN's chief medical correspondent.
Okay.
So anything that has to do with health and wellness, and when it comes to CNN, he's kind of the leader. And I really respect this guy. I'm not necessarily going to say I'm in love with CNN, but I do like what he does, and I remember reading this, and this is actually an article from 2013, so 7 years ago. And this is actually what kind of sparked the whole cannabis movement or the CBD movement. So let me read this. Over the last year, I've been working on a new documentary called Weed. The title Weed may sound cavalier, but the content is not. I travel around the world to interview medical leaders, experts, growers, and patients. I spoke candidly to them, asking tough questions. What I found was stunning. Long before I began this project, I had steadily reviewed the scientific literature on medical marijuana from the United States and thought it was fairly unimpressive. Reading these papers 5 years ago, it was hard to make a case for medical marijuana. I even wrote about this in a Time magazine article back in 2009 titled, Why I Would Vote No on Pot.
Okay.
Well, he says, I'm here to apologize. I apologize because I didn't look hard enough until now. I didn't look far enough. I didn't review papers from smaller labs in other countries doing remarkable research, and I was too dismissive of the loud chorus of legitimate patients whose symptoms improved on cannabis. Instead, I lumped them with a high-visibility maligners just looking to get high. Exactly. I mistakenly believe that the DEA listed marijuana as a Schedule I because of sound scientific proof. Surely they must have quality reasoning as to why marijuana is in the category of the most dangerous drugs that have no accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. They didn't have the science to support that claim, and I now know that when it comes to marijuana, neither of those things are true. It doesn't have a high potential for abuse, and there are very legitimate medical applications. In fact, sometimes marijuana is the only thing that works. Take the case of Charlotte Fiji, who I met in Colorado. She started having seizures soon after age 3 and was having 300 a week despite being on 7 different medications. Medical marijuana has calmed her brain, limiting her seizures to 2 or 3 a month. You remember that? They actually started a strain called Charlotte's Web because of this girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this literally, and I remember the story because it was illegal, and I remember the parents, and they found this girl's parents, and then of course they found other parents who were kind of like, hey, I see what these parents are doing. So they couldn't figure out how to stop their girls from seizuring. They found out that a little bit of CBD just under her tongue stopped her seizures, but it was illegal for the parents to buy it. And the only way to get it, they had to cross a state line, which is even more illegal, apparently, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole story was how they were taking their freedom, what do you want to call it? They were risking their freedom by simply trying to help their daughter, right?
Mm.
And Sanjay Gupta picked up on this, and it was a big thing, and there's a really good documentary. So today, guys, we just want you to know that when we're talking about cannabis, and especially the CBD portion of it, we're not here trying to promote cannabis use, but there are health benefits to it.
Provide information, and
you got it. And we are the Healthy Podcast, so we want to give you all the options out there.
and as you can see, there are plenty.
There are plenty, yep.
Aren't you just tempted
Don't
to
they
eat
look good?
one, right?
Man, the marketing and the packaging.
Oh, it looks so tasty.
I know. We'll discuss it in further right away. But
okay, let's get into this game. So Jen King, thanks for tuning in. Joanne Renard, thanks for tuning in. We're going to play a game for some wireless earbuds. I got 2 to give away, and the game is guess the song before Rick, and I threw in some toffees that Rick probably doesn't know. So we're going to see. All right.
Okay, so what do you want me to guess? The name of the song?
You got. Let's just go with if you can name the song, or if you can just whatever. Right?
Okay,
Like,
name the
song or name the artist.
Okay.
Whatever comes to your mind first. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's get this.
Am I going to hear this? Or are you putting a mic to it? Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go.
Away. And the game is. I gotta
Oh,
this. Hold on.
that's RJ.
Okay.
The
You guys ready?
the title of that
Here we
is
go.
RJ.
Here we go. Let's turn this up. Boom. This is on mute. Let's turn it up.
I can see the dirt of the sky. Well, I definitely know the song. I've heard it 1 zillion times. Is this, what are those two? Is this Milli Vanilli? No. Ace of Base. This is that Seal.
Nice.
Yes.
You beat Jen. Jen, you just got it. Oh, Umish, you just got it. All right. Okay, so Seal.
One
yes.
speaker for Rick.
Yeah. One Rick. Audience.
Pick it up, audience.
0.
Let's go. Let's get it.
All right, let's get on to this. All right, you guys ready? This is a top you. Sam, thank you. Okay, get ready, guys.
When the night is cold. I have no idea who sings this. This is back in the 50s or 60s. Little Richard. No. Elvis. No. I'm just bullshitting at this point. I have no idea. Oh, hey, this guy. He's
Guess the song.
I feel like he's Stand By Me.
Yeah, Rick. Yes. Oh, Jen, you're just a half second late. Nice try. All right.
2 speakers for Rick.
Stand By Me, 1961. All right, we're going to get into something that's everybody should probably kind of have an idea of what it is. And Mush guessed it correctly. Ben King, Kathy, great work.
Ooh, Ben King was the name?
Ben King was the name, actually. I didn't know the name. So that my dad and one of our old clients actually sang that at my wedding. That was our
really?
wedding song, yeah.
Oh, that's why you played it.
You guys ready?
Ready. Jerome, be ready. Every rose has its thorn. Oh, the white dude. He's kind of a rapper too. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about? So, 3 damn days.
No, not Nickelback.
Not Nickelback. He's the guy that wears the top
15
hat.
seconds.
He's the guy that wears the top hat.
10 seconds, Kid Rock, Umish.
Kid
you
Rock.
just won yourself a set of headphones.
I could totally picture him. I just couldn't figure the name.
So that's Kid Rock and Show Crow Pitcher, all-time favorite.
If you got a Nickelback song lined up, don't bother. I already win. I will kick anybody's ass.
So we got
in
Rick.
Nickelback.
What's Rick?
2?
Rick's 2. Audience 1.
Oh, no.
Come on, guys, step it up. There's multiples of you.
Let's
get
go.
ready. Here we
Let's
go.
go.
Here we go.
Nickelback. Rockstar.
I wasn't sure if Rick would win the other one, so I wanted to give my freebie here. Okay, so yeah, nobody's beating Rick.
That's actually the theme song to my 30s, just so you know. It is.
So that's Nickelback, Rockstar, and nobody had a chance with that one.
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure we were going. All right, so get ready because this one might really stump Rick. I don't know. He said he wanted to hear something different. So I don't know if he knows this depth. Okay, get ready, audience. I got one more headphone to give away. And Umish, if you win it, then you'll get. We'll figure something out.
We'll give you some CBD, buddy.
Yeah.
Courtesy of you.
I'll give you a towel. I'll give you a Fit Club towel for the pool party.
Yep.
Get ready.
We'll give you your own product.
Get ready.
Change? Shit.
Uh-huh.
I guess change is good for any of us.
Oh, change.
Whatever it takes for any
Tupac.
niggas to keep
Woo! Rick! Come on, Mush.
Yeah.
Jen even guessed it.
Yeah, Tupac.
Mush, way too slow. All right, so yeah,
90s
that's
rap, man. Don't
that's
bother.
Tupac, I ain't mad at you.
Yeah.
all the homies that I ain't
Tupac, Biggie.
Yeah. All right. Last one
we
here.
should make that their theme song.
Last one. All right. Who's on? Get ready. If you don't know this song, you didn't live through the 90s and you were not cool. I'm just going to say that, okay? Get ready.
Snoop Dogg.
Nice.
Yeah.
You just had to hear the
I
pee.
just know how it sounds when he pees.
There we go. Congratulations, Rick dominated the audience today.
Yeah.
I think that was 4-1 or
Yeah.
5-1.
And straight up, he didn't give me the heads up on this either.
No, not at all.
No.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
all right. So let's get back to the cannabis. Anyways, like I said, this
Smooth
are
transition.
we doing? Well, I'm just wondering, are we doing any more games?
That's
or
it. We're
no?
done.
Can I
Yeah.
get back into
Let's
this?
go.
All right. All right. Okay. So, anyways, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, what I just read to you, and this man has a lot of credibility in the medical worlds, and I respect what he says. And I did enjoy his documentary called Weed. I would suggest that everybody do it. So now that we have a sponsor,
Yes.
Vape Up, Umish,
Yeah.
he's provided us with all the different products that you can use. So I thought we would check it out. But let me discuss this. There are actually 20 health benefits of cannabis that everyone should know. So, RJ, I'm going to hit you with it,
Okay.
and then I want your opinion, whether it's for it or against
And
it.
it's
all right?
my opinion.
It's your opinion.
Yes.
And everybody, just so you know, whether you believe in smoking and cannabis or not, we're not here promoting it. We're just here giving out our opinion on it.
Can we ask the audience their opinion as well? If
Sure,
they've got
of
an
course we
opinion?
can.
And also, I'd like to know who is openly consuming cannabis.
Okay, so let's make that question
Just a
number
quick
one.
show of hands,
Yeah,
right?
there you
Who's openly utilizing cannabis?
And is it a THC or is it a CBD product? Because that's two different things, kind
True,
of. Okay?
true, okay.
All right. So one of the things that it does, it's a relief of chronic pain. So there are hundreds of chemical compounds in cannabis, many of which are cannabinoids. Cannabinoids have been linked to providing relief of chronic pain due to their chemical makeup, which is why cannabis byproducts such as medical cannabis is commonly used for chronic pain relief. Why I like this is because I have used opioids before, and that is a can of worms that you'd never want to get into. You know what I mean? It's everybody knows about it. Very addictive. So if there's
Give me an
any
example. Percocets?
Percocets,
Yeah.
I mean, if you can remember I don't think it was mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, we had an epidemic, right?
Oh, Percocets.
Oxycontin.
Okay.
Oxycontin.
That's right.
Percocets is like the baby version of the Oxycontin. I mean, Oxycontin, you can get like into the 80 milligrams a pill.
Oh, okay.
Percocets are like 5.
Mid-level.
Yeah, and half of that's just filler.
Okay.
So, anyways, there are programs now, obviously, getting people off of opioids. Personally, I don't feel like you can really develop a big addiction to cannabis. Maybe you can. Certainly not the same as opioids. So, how do you feel about using? Have you ever used cannabis for pain?
I've used CBD for
Yeah.
pain.
So, do you want to admit how much you've ever used, just so people know?
Weed?
Weed, yeah.
No, I've never.
You've
Like,
never smoked
I've
THC?
I've probably had a gram in my life.
Okay.
Actually, when I was in high school, we used to smoke it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But not like anything.
So, would you say you're anti-marijuana or are you
wouldn't say-
pro-marijuana?
I wouldn't say I'm anti-marijuana, but I do classify marijuana in the same categories as like alcohol, junk food. You know what I mean? It's more of a treat with more health benefits. I mean, a glass of red wine has health benefits too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if you're blazing and you're big, like, I mean, that's like having a bottle of wine to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's funny is even before we started, Michelle's like looking at you two guys with all this stuff. You guys are Beavis and Butthead or Cheech and Chong, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the stigma exists.
Yeah.
If you consume cannabis, you're looked at as a pothead. But I feel like it's actually changing. So, anyways, relief of chronic pain. I would agree with that. I've done it. So here's another one.
So wait. So
Okay.
I've done the research on that,
Okay.
and this ties into what CBD does. And,
Sure.
and it's actually it relaxes the nerves that are triggering pain fibers, and so that's the long-term benefits of it. So short-term, it's gonna relax, or it's gonna tell the pain. So that it's all signals, right, in your brain.
Yep.
And signaling to body parts, and so it actually decreases the activity of pain signals to pain areas. And then long term is that if those pain, like people, what chronic pain is your body is constantly signaling to it. Doesn't matter what it's doing, it's constantly. And so if you have a longer term use of CBD, so CBD I would say is like is a dummied down version of THC. So THC will take an effect into it right away, whereas CBD, it takes more prolonged use. And then, but when you do it for prolonged, then what happens is those pain fibers start to decrease their activity. And when you get them to calm down longer term, then they're calmed down longer term.
Right. And I think one of the other things too is people would say one's natural and one's man-made, right? The opioids versus
yes.
CBD.
Yeah, and when you take opioids, so I've taken Oxycontins for when I had like knee pain and stuff like that. You just don't feel good, man, and like you feel sick. They don't taste good. Your stomach, you can't poo. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of things with the opiates, but there's no euphoric effect, and that's why I would rather have like an opioid versus having THC.
You're saying there's no euphoric effect in THC?
No,
or
like
in opioids?
the THC, I'll get high, and you know, depending on where my mind wants to go, you know, you really got to be in control of that. Whereas when you take a Oxycontin, you're just like this. Like,
I don't know. I would disagree with you on that one. I feel like you get a very euphoric high, and that's what's very addictive about it, because you just feel so perfect. You know what I mean? You absolutely feel perfect. So actually, it's good that you don't like it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's good for you on that one. You know what I mean? You never want to like it. So number 2, and I don't know if I agree with this or not, it improves your lung capacity. So unlike smoking cigarettes, when smoking cannabis in the form of cannabis, your lungs aren't harmed. In fact, a study found that cannabis actually helps increase the capacity of lungs rather than cause harm to it.
I've never seen a weed smoker that didn't hack up a dart when we played basketball.
I agree.
So I don't know about that.
I don't necessarily know if I would have agreed with it or not. But again, this could also come back to the amount of consumption, right? I mean,
probably in moderation.
Moderation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think it's important that we decipher between the potheads, the guys who chronically smoke all day, all night. They're not functioning normally. They're in their basement. They're just sitting there, and they're probably, you know, you're stereotypical in the basement playing video games.
So do you think that's like smoking a little bit? Like, I'm all about hacks, right? I'm like, I'll take a little hack if it's going to help, right? Do you think that's something that everybody should kind of be taking?
I do.
Like even just a little bit?
Yeah, and microdosing.
Yeah. So what's a micro dose? Give me an example.
It's just a very small dose of it, right? So
give me an example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got here for a product. So this right here.
I've seen the yellow ones. They're 25 milligrams.
Right? These ones are 10.
Okay.
But there's 20 of them. Okay. So let's say, for example, what's the point of microdosing? So you always want to kind of alter your brain, or you want it to start firing different signals towards different receptors of your head, right, or of your brain to stimulate growth, thoughts, whatever it is that you're doing. The problem is that we start a little bit, and then it doesn't work anymore, so we take a little more, and it's that slippery slope, right? Okay. So, you know, again, you have to be able to control yourself, but, you know, like right now, marijuana was legalized based on how the health benefits of it. Microdosing is a big topic within this industry, and now, like LSD and I can't remember the other ones. Like right now, it's a big thing as well in the U.S. So that will eventually be as well.
Like a big guru recommended for me to start doing like that.
Yeah,
so crazy.
So I would recommend microdosing a lot of things, right? Just to stimulate different, like, you know, hacks, right? Just like we would take.
Okay, so let's. I know what a microdose is because that's what I did. I did 2.5 milligrams of CBD, 2.5 milligrams of THC. I did it on an empty stomach. Bad mistake. Hit me really hard. It was hard to get out of it. So I would say that, you know, that's where somebody could probably start, because the CBD and the THC do. Like if you have more CBD than THC, so let's say you do 2.5 milligrams THC and you do 5 milligrams of CBD, then you really get the calming effect without really any of the euphoric effect, right?
Yeah.
And so people that are just getting going, they do have them in 2.5. Do we have any real low dose or?
And I guess I can start switching all these around, and just so you know, CBD is the type, and you know this, but it doesn't get you high. It just gives you a sense of overall wellness, and you probably won't even really feel it.
You won't feel it at all.
No, you won't.
You might feel it. And again, CBD is not like THC, where THC you'll feel its effects depending on how much you do of it right away. Whereas if you drank a bottle of CBD, you're not going to get high, and you're not going to notice its effects right away. And in fact, you're probably just wasting it. So that's why you're better off to do a little bit of CBD, depending on if you have like chronic pain, or if you want to. They say it releases the like the feel good. So it's like when you do something and you're like, man, I did it. That's kind of what it releases. But it takes time. And it'll probably take you anywhere from 2 weeks up to 30 days of consistent taking it. So when something takes that long, when the effects take longer, the side effects are less, right? So if you drink a cup of tea versus going and taking a bunch of espresso shots, you know, the tea is a slow sustain, but I'm not going to get a hangover from this. Versus if I did a bunch of coffee, you're going to have a massive hangover,
Right.
right?
So with CBD, I feel like it's a long play,
It's a
something that
long
you
play.
incorporate into your daily routine.
Lifestyle. It's one of those. It's honestly, it's one of those boring supplements that you would take that, you know, the only reason why people are fearful of it is because they tie it into marijuana.
I know.
And
They
they're
tie
like,
it into
oh,
THC,
CBD.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody I talk about CBD and it's like, oh,
Can I get high from it?
yeah.
How high will I get?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they give me the wink and the gun. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is like drinking water. You know what I mean? It's like enhanced water.
Yeah.
So I would tie it into the supplements such as like the tissue rejuvenator, fish oils, like the stuff that's going to help your body, but you're not going to notice it, right? Like you take a shot of pre-workout or you take 5 Effes, you're going to be flying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And one of the other things that that I have found, so it's not new as far as this product exists in the world. I feel like because it's only recently been legalized, especially in Canada, the research behind it is minimal because we just haven't, nobody would ever put it out there that, yeah, I consume this, so go ahead and study me, right? Now that it's legal, now I'm sure they're doing studies. What I don't like about CBD or the claims of CBD is that apparently it cures everything from, you know, headaches down to your skin to all joint problems. So my question has always been, and this is one of the things that as we learn more, we'll figure it out, is how do I know, okay, so if I have an elbow problem and I want to use CBD for it, what is the dose for the elbow? Right?
I don't know.
But I don't want to dose too much because I don't have like let's say a chronic headache.
Yeah.
How do I know it's going to whatever I need it for? That's
one of the things when I did do the research is it actually directly affects the area. So it's like it's going to calm the nerves of wherever they're overstimulated. It's going to work overall, but it's from the research that I found, it actually goes directly into that pain side.
Yeah. So okay, so let's say you're using it for chronic pain, but they claim it's also for stress.
Yep.
So how much are you taking for stress? How much are you taking for chronic pain?
It's the same signal.
Yeah.
Right. So that's basically what they're saying is it's calming that stressful signal.
So would you say then that it's good to just, so whatever your problem is, take it and it'll just kind of figure itself out in your body? I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll work where it needs to work, right?
Okay.
And that's basically, it's like a very, and all the quality is different. And Umesh like assures us that they're at the top quality. So like you can get some CBD and there could be really not much in there. Do you know what I mean? So,
I guess you question it.
Yeah.
That's one of the good reasons of legalizing it, though.
And they
because
could charge whatever they want.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because it's so new.
Yeah. It's extremely regulated, this industry, like overly regulated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next point. It helps lose weight. If you look around, you'll notice that the avid cannabis user is usually not overweight. That's questionable. That is because cannabis is linked to aiding your body in regulating insulin while managing caloric intake efficiently. So if you are using it kind of at on a regular basis, not abusing it, I would agree with this. But if you're not, if you are the stereotypical pothead, if you're just sitting there, and I know I take this from personal experience that I get the munchies. I am so stereotypical and classic when it comes to that. And it's like that salty, sweet, and the food is right up to my throat, and I still got to eat. So when it comes to losing weight, I would be very careful with that statement, and that's just based on your own personal willpower.
I'm the same thing. I just assume.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on how much you take, and I'm just trying to think of all the potheads I know, and they're generally skinny, but all the potheads I know don't work out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm talking about the potheads, like they're smoking a gram just to wake up kind of thing, right?
So do you think, so just give me your personal opinion, do you feel if you want to, let's say, win at life, smoking weed is part of that or not?
I think if you want to win at life, you should never rely upon a substance at all. Okay. Right. And because if they pull it away, are you still that animal? Right. But I think that if you do it right, you know, I do believe that there is a lot to it, because if you're going to bed super stressed out and you can't sleep and, you know, you're always constantly worried or whatever, and this helps you to be calm and it gets you through a day versus, you know, a lot of people are super reactive and super like way up there, high strung, that if anything comes in their direction, they're just like fighting and they're getting upset and blah, 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 or whatever, they break down, whatever their response to stress is. Yeah. I think that if this can keep you at a somewhat cool state, I think cool heads will always prevail.
Yeah, that's a good point. So here's the next one. Helps treat depression. Depression is fairly widespread without most people even knowing they have it. Cannabis can help in stabilizing moods, which can ease depression. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things. I personally feel like everybody should alter their mindset once in a while, right? You can call it getting drunk, getting high, call it
And
whatever you want. But I think it's important that we do
yeah.
that just to just get out of our own brain once
Yeah,
in a while. You
it's
know, a lot of people
nice.
need
But
that.
you just got to prepare for depending on how far you go with it, right?
You
Like
do.
if I drink, I'm preparing. Okay, what do I got 3 days
Exactly.
after?
Yeah.
Okay, I got nothing. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Right? But I'll tell you one. So there's a drug, a party drug that got big in the like kind of late 90s, early 2000s. Then it got really big in the late 2000s, which is MDMA.
Mm-hmm.
So they call it Molly, right? And I don't know, man, like I've done Molly before. I loved it, right? Like still would do it, right? But I think that's something that you have to experience because I would rather do an MDMA than do smoke a joint with you.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, yeah, you want to go and chill out? Like, yeah, let's go pop Molly,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
not a bit, like the lots of it.
Right.
And you've honestly like the dopamine that you release, you know, like even if you just did it in small, and just to feel that level of like where you're just so happy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that that's important for people to be able to, but you got to be able to know when to like pull. It's just like smoking weed, right?
Yeah.
You get high, you know, and then enjoy it and then get out of it,
Yeah.
right? But don't be like popping mollies all night where you're up till like 5 in the morning,
Yeah.
right? But I think that yes, people should feel either that enhanced state, and then it just kind of like it's just like doing a really workout. We talked about that with Hugo's, where you push yourself. Was that you that said that? Push yourself to the limit and see where that limit is when you work out.
Mhm.
Like really just exhaust yourself where the point where your legs collapse, right? Just
Yeah.
experience that. Well, experience that level of happiness.
Yeah.
And
But
and
be
then-
prepared for the depression.
yeah,
the
be
next day.
prepared, but don't. Then so you have to. It's just like when somebody's taking a new supplement. I always say try one with the meal.
Yeah.
Right, and then work your way up to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But don't like go and take a whole pill that you don't know of. Like just do a little bit
Mhm.
and work your way up to it.
Mhm.
Just like the weed, microdose. For me, when I do my microdose, I'm literally microdosing the microdose.
Mhm.
Right, I have that little pill and I bite it, and then I save 2/3 of it for later.
Yeah.
And that's how I microdose.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how you should.
Yeah.
That's how you should. And one of the things about marijuana too is that it's kind of a lifestyle. Whereas let's say your drug of choice is cocaine. The only way you're taking it is you're snorting it one way.
Yeah.
With cannabis, you can incorporate it into your baking. You can make butter out of it. You can incorporate it into drinks. So
Yeah.
you can turn it into.
Well, look at how many
something-
little things there are there. Right there.
I know this is great, and this is just a small sample of what he's got going on here.
Yeah.
It shows promise in autism treatment. I don't have any friends, or I don't know anybody with autism or that have autistic kids, so I don't really have a strong opinion on this. But if you go back to the Sanjay Gupta, I feel like it would connect the two. Do you know any? Do you have any opinion on the autism?
I don't.
No. Okay,
I
so
don't
here we
know
go.
much about it.
Regulate seizures, and this is actually what sparked the whole Sanjay Gupta CNN or weed documentary, I should say. And we know that it's true. If you watch the documentary, you'll know it. But one of the things that I can give you a personal opinion on is our dog. We actually give her a little bit of CBD. She's getting up there in age, and recently she's had a couple of seizures. And since then, we give her a little bit of liquid CBD, put a little bit on her tongue. She licks it up. She loves it. She doesn't fight it. And she hasn't had a seizure since. So, whatever that means, that's a story that actually I can tell you.
Fun fact:
with
I've
certainty.
given some to Jet before.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? You think that's a problem giving you? Well, no. I mean, I feel like it's not really an illegal drug. I mean, this girl.
I mean, I've tried it. I've tried like taking lots of it,
Mhm.
right? And I've gotten no effects. Like I'm messed up, and
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything the next day. I didn't feel anything long term.
Yeah.
I just know of the health benefits to it, and
Well, the only thing that I can speak to is when I started taking it, I said, okay, we got to take it for an extended period of time, and I really want to track what is it helping me. What am I doing better 30 days after I started taking CBD?
Yeah.
And the one thing that really worked was deep sleep.
Okay.
So falling asleep wasn't the issue, but it was staying in that really, I guess, REM sleep.
Mhm.
And I found that on the CBD, it really gave me that deep sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Anybody out there who has maybe kids with ADHD?
Oh.
This can be something to consider. Individuals with ADHD have trouble focusing on tasks at hand. They tend to have problems with cognitive performance, concentration. Cannabis has shown promise in promoting focus and helping individuals with ADHD. It is also considered a safer alternative to Adderall and Ritalin. Great point, because I feel like doctors are real quick to throw youngsters on these pills when they're a little out of control.
Yeah.
I fortunately never had to deal with it, but I know I have a lot of friends who have kids that are on Ritalin.
Mm.
Yeah, not Adderall, but Ritalin.
I've done Ritalin once.
Mhm.
Oh, That's
What does
awesome.
it do?
You're just like dialed in.
Focused, right?
You can't get off one topic. Like, so you want to like, you know how I like to dissect everything and I just see it from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it once and it was okay. Two experiences. So one, I remember sitting on a bus. This was in Puerto Vallarta because you can just go to the store and buy Adderall or whatever you want, right? And so I bought some and popped
Mexico's the
them.
best.
Oh yeah, and and so we were on the bus and I literally put together this business plan from start to finish in that short period of time. And I was so dialed in. Now, that was the good part. The bad part was when I went to, so in Puerto Vallarta where we were, there was whales like breaching just not far.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody said, hey, you can, instead of paying these catamarans or whatever, and they bring you out, you just rent a Sea-Doo. So I rented a Sea-Doo. And I remember like taking Neri and it was so wavy and she didn't know how to swim and, you know, whatever. And I was so nervous, but I was like so focused on just the road. Dude, we were so close to whales. I don't remember seeing them because I was so focused on driving this thing.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it took me out of my other elements. Like, what was I out there for?
Yeah.
Not just to drive.
Yeah.
And that's all I was focused on was just driving.
Okay.
And then it took me away from enjoying the whales.
Mhm.
Like, they were literally right there, man. I wish I could go back and see that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Especially
but
on
I
a
was
Sea-Doo.
just looking at the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
do know that writers actually like to take Adderall
Yes.
because it gets them focused because
It's
it's hard to write. And I know that's
It
something
is.
that I've started doing
Yeah.
quite a bit lately. And man, just trying to getting rolling is the
Yeah.
hardest part. Once you're rolling, then it's okay, right?
Mhm.
Here's another one. Everybody seems to be dealing with a little bit of anxiety today. So while cannabis is commonly known to cause anxiety, there's a way around it. Taken in monitored dosage and in the proper way, cannabis can help alleviate anxiety and calm users down. I would personally say that would be an indica version of cannabis as opposed to the sativa version. I'm sure.
So,
Umesh-
hey, can we talk about that?
Yep.
What's the difference between a indica and a sativa?
So the way that I learned it is indica. You want to say indica couch,
Couch.
which basically means that you're going to be sitting in that couch chilling. Once it hits you, you're not moving,
Yeah.
right? Whereas the sativa is going to give you the opposite effect. It's going to be kind of an upper. It's going to get you up and moving.
Yeah.
So it's a good point and it's a good question.
Yeah.
If you are going to consume cannabis, know which one you're taking because you don't want to take the indica at 8 in the morning
Yeah.
while you're on your way to work. You know what I mean? You're going to be passed out in the car.
I know guys that smoke, and my dad actually, he went and picked up some sativa or whatever, and he actually took it pre-workout, and he said he was like he had a great workout, and I've heard that from other people.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I've taken cannabis before on a workout. And it doesn't help me, no. But I know people who do, man, and I know you don't. You think that most people don't, but there's a lot of people who take cannabis and they
there's
thrive
You know
on
what's
it.
even
Man.
shocking to me is people that smoke.
Yeah,
Like that
Well, that's
come
what I'm
here.
saying. They
Like
puff
everybody
in
that comes here, we just assume they're super healthy, right?
Yeah.
Like just no bad habits, and
Yeah.
then people are smokers.
You know, as I've put it out there that I'm okay with this, a lot of people have admitted and opened up about it. They're like, yeah, man, I'll have a puff before the gym. I'll have a
Yeah.
puff before a lot of things.
I feel like, and when I do talk to people about it, right, and I
Mm-hmm.
talked about CBD and this and that, and people really loosen up, and it's like talking about porn, right? Like that's how people talk about it right now. Is like it's like porn, right? It's like this new secret thing. Like, hey, I'm open about it, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's like they're coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been smoking weed forever, and they're like their eyes light up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why there should be a stigma. I mean, it's legal. God, you can buy it anywhere now. It's,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is, CBD is
Yeah.
promoted for children. It's not a
Yeah.
bad thing.
I
so.
grew up around weed all the. I remember
Mm-hmm.
sitting in our house, and my parents would box it. Like it was just nuts.
Oh,
My
yeah?
first joint I had with my parents.
Is it?
I actually was so high one time, and I still got a little mark on my lip. I don't know if it's still there, but you remember the old tweezers or
Yep.
what are they called? Those.
Yep. Where you would hold the joint.
Yeah, the little roach clips.
Roach clip,
right?
yeah.
And I had a roach, and I just like had it there, and then I just forgot that I had it there. And then the thing, like, it was just sitting on my lip, and I'm like, oh. You know, it kicks in like 10 seconds later.
Yeah. So here's a couple other things. Deals with pain linked to arthritis and helps people with PTSD symptoms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The PTSD, I went to the first annual marijuana show convention. I don't know. It was in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what they called it. It was about a year ago.
Yeah.
Right after they legalized it, they had this. And I feel like the biggest demographic of people who were consuming cannabis
Yeah.
were people from the industry, like military,
Oh, okay.
army, police officers, a lot of paramedics,
Right.
stuff like that, because of the shit that they got to see. So now they're dealing with. But the ones that, so when we're asking questions and talking to them, they're the ones that were so passionate about it. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like they conveyed to me that this saved their life.
Yeah.
Like from eating a bullet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so I feel this this is why I really enjoy it, because I feel if you're talking to the right person, it really is meaningful.
And it's
right?
a different excitement too when you talk to somebody about marijuana versus talking about drinking. Like you talk to somebody about that loves drinking and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I love drinking." And it's like, they just want to get stupid,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Versus marijuana, a lot of people talk to you about how they feel good, they sleep better.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would link that to a similar conversation with fitness for people like us.
Yeah.
Like, you know how we feel great after a workout,
Oh, yeah.
and many of our members do. I feel like that's sort of similar. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you'd have that conversation with alcohol. I can't see too many people having a quick shot of vodka or a
Yeah.
glass of wine
Going to the
before
gym.
to the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some people do,
Yeah,
but I
probably.
don't associate it as that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it treats inflammation, treats inflammatory bowel diseases. So let's read this. So individuals with Crohn's or ulcerative colitis can find some relief with the use of cannabis. THC and cannabidiol are known to help enhance immune response while also interact with cells that play a vital role in the functioning of the gut. Cannabis helps block off bacteria and other compounds that cause inflammation in the intestines.
All ties in.
All ties in.
Nerve stimulus.
Yeah, you got it. So inflammation is always a big challenge for a lot of people, especially in the workout space, right?
Big time.
So this might be an option for you.
All right, we got an audience question.
What do you got?
Let's go there. Looking for a recommendation. What would I order to wait? Nary jumped on.
Two in a row.
2 in a row. We have to stop. Sorry, Carrie. Nary, welcome. We're
Hi,
talking
Nary.
about marijuana and consuming purple cake. All right, let's get back to it. So, looking for recommendation, what would I order to help with two things? Sleep and decrease anxiety. Keep in mind, we haven't not used anything before. Mush.
We haven't not.
They've never done anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's easy. That's an easy question.
Yeah.
So number one, microdose.
We can probably answer that question.
Yeah, microdose. So start off slow to try to get an even blend between 2 milligrams of CBD versus milligrams of THC. Second is get a indica. And third, I would just pick a night where you don't where you might end up staying up. I found that it doesn't put me to sleep.
You found the indica does not put you to sleep? Does it relax you,
I
though?
get the spinnies and
Oh, really,
Yeah.
eh?
And so for me,
Who asked that question?
Carrie McWeeny.
Oh, Carrie, okay.
Yeah. So Carrie, I would start either really low. I would pick up a low dose, 2.5 milligram CBD, 2.5 milligram THC, and then I would also buy a bottle of CBD just to kind of take a couple drops so that you get more CBD than the THC. That's how I would to get an immediate response. But if you want a longer term slow response, then I would just get the CBD drops.
Yeah. I would probably be a little bit different with that. I would say if you're using it for sleep, go with a higher dose as opposed to 2.5. And only because that's what you want it for. You literally want it to knock you out, right? And that's
But
what
will
for.
it though? You think so?
Well, a lot of people say it does.
Yeah.
So,
and so what's a high dose? 25
I
milligrams?
would say 25. I'd say anything.
So one of those yellow gummies.
Anything over 20 would probably be a pretty high dose. You know, again, I mean, if you're not a consumer, sure, you might want to start with RJ's approach.
Yeah.
Or if you've never consumed. If you have, maybe go a little bit higher. But again, it's one of those things that you're going to have to test out. That's the only thing that I have found different about prescription drugs.
Yeah.
You know that it's going to hit you here, it's
Yes.
going to end here, and this is how long it's going to last. Whereas with cannabis, I feel like we just don't know enough to know
But
how to
what's
say
the
it, right?
and what's the outcome, right? And I don't know, maybe people jumped off a bridge or something, but what is gonna if you consume too much sativa, you know what I mean? You're just gonna be sitting on the couch paranoid, right?
Yeah.
Versus if you take too much prescription pills, you take
It's the same thing.
I should go high Zops, no, you take 8 Zops, you're not waking up. You know what I mean? There's a good chance of that. So what would happen if you overconsume this? You'd probably be just ultra baked.
I feel like if you really overdid it on the indica, you would just pass out.
Pass out.
Yeah, you'd pass out for a hard and for a long
So
time.
even if you overdosed, I don't know, and again,
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yep.
I don't I doubt somebody's eating 10 of these, but who knows? I don't know what would happen.
I mean, you probably could. They taste like
die?
candy. I
Yeah.
would certainly eat this whole bag in about 2 seconds if it wasn't
It's so
this.
tempting to eat the whole thing.
It is, and I think that's one of the concerns that you'd have to be extremely careful with is your kids.
Yeah.
Because this does look
Kids
really
and
good.
dogs and stuff, literally put it in the high shelf and lock it.
But that's just being responsible, just like you would with your alcohol and just like you would with your prescription pills.
So we just want to let everybody know that we actually. So there is a site where you can order this, and it gets delivered right to your door, and there's no questions asked, and all this and that.
It's called vapeup.co.
Yep.
And
Bud Index, if you want to get a discount.
Yeah.
Discount. Bud Index. It's in the comments.
What is our discount code?
Bud Index is what Umesh is saying. So that tells me he didn't set up our discount code for Fit Club.
Okay. So when you go to vapeup.co, you're going to purchase, you're going to set it up, purchase anything like you would, just like Amazon, start a cart, and then you're going to use Bud Index as the discount code.
Yep.
Is that correct? Umesh,
Yeah.
what's the discount
pass
for
me the
Fit Club
CBD
members?
there.
This one?
Yeah, CBD. Is there the one in front? I see it right there, right in front of the
This?
index. Yeah. So Carrie, she's asking, she's online, and we got a 2,000 milligram here at the gym. Oh, this one's already been used. Yeah, we got a 2,000 milligram of CBD. So that would be, you want to go higher dose with that, Carrie. Like 500 is just not enough.
Umesh, what would you recommend for somebody who wants to sleep? CBD.
He's saying others take 5 milligrams of indica for sleep.
And how would you say that, Umesh? Is that through edibles or smoking? And which one would be better? Would it be better to consume via smoke or vape or edible? And while we're at it, okay, so we're actually almost
How do you take it? You take the tincture.
That I would put under your tongue.
Put it under your tongue.
And hold it as long as you can.
Yeah, it literally just tastes like oil, right? Yeah. I think they actually mix this with MCT oil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about a couple things. Let's break it down here. I'll give you these 4 to look at.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about these ones right here.
Can I go from like a coaching standpoint?
Sure.
Terrible. So we got pure cannabis, good. Sugar, glucose, syrup, concentrated pear juice, artificial color. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good point. So then how do you want to consume it? Then maybe you want to smoke it, right?
Yeah, or you know what? The ones that I got are just pills.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, cannabis. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Versus like a gummy or an edible.
So this is, where's my camera, Jerome? Right here? So this right here, these are called vapes. Company's called Vape Up. Vape Up. And this is how I consume it. And in fact, Umesh has created a blend for me. It's 1-to-1 CBD to THC, and I call it the Coach's Blend. And the reason why I had to actually stop smoking cannabis last year was because of my munchies problem. So I would literally just eat too much. It wasn't healthy for me. So I stopped. And just so you know, I had 0 issue stopping cannabis.
Yeah, you stopped it like
it was no problem.
I remember one day you just said, "I'm done."
That's it.
Yeah.
So there's no withdrawal effects. There wasn't for me. I would strongly say that you're not going to have to deal with it. But what I did now is, so now I consume it through a vape. It's a 1-on-1 CBD, and it doesn't make me blasted, but it kind of gives me a really good general sense of wellness, and it allows me to really chill out. So if you want to find something that really gets you relaxed, so you can Netflix and
That's
chill.
The Coach's Blend.
At the end of your day, that's the way that I would suggest it. And it's not harsh like a cigarette.
Yeah.
You know, you're not feeling that smoke in your lungs.
Yeah. I've never done a vape up pen.
You haven't?
So one day we'll have to go camping or something.
All right. So we've analyzed the ingredients.
Yeah.
Not Fit Club recommended.
Yeah.
Okay. What else you got there?
Funny. Okay. So what is this? Dog treats? Cannabites. Canine cannabites. I was like, what?
There you go.
So here's the ingredients.
Here's another one.
Yellow. I was like, how is anybody eating this? Yellow peas, dried bacon fat, dried potatoes, dried sweet potatoes, canola oil, cane molasses.
Doesn't sound too bad, actually.
So this is a low THC 500 milligrams treat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. And then this one is a THC infused pomegranate syrup.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting. So I guess you get one of those tinctures, or
you just put that in your water.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just
So
add a little
2
bit.
ounces is the recommended serving there.
Yeah.
And then we got these other canine treats.
You know
Have
what?
you tried these, Rick?
I think we've given them to Bailey. Yep.
But have you eaten one?
I haven't eaten one. No.
Okay.
Having said that, it's not that I have never eaten a dog treat before.
I know. That's something that I figured you would do. What do we got in there? In the brown?
This
Is
one
that
here?
how they come?
Smell it. Open that up and smell
All
it.
right,
That's straight
so
bud. And see if you can
purple-
throw that on the camera.
I can't even read that. Purple.
Purple ayahuasca.
Alaska. That sounds great.
Ayahuasca.
There you go. So, see, I love the smell of weed.
The smell of weed is
I
great.
love the smell of weed. I remember running and people would be smoking outside, and I'm running and I would just get a glimpse of just a tobacco and But this, when I smell this, I'm like, oh man. That smells nice.
Okay, here, you talk about this. I'm going to talk about this. So this right here is what's called a pre-roll. And what a pre-roll is basically they roll your joint for you. And one of the things that I used to have an issue with back in the day when I smoked bud was trying to roll it. I could never do it.
Oh, yeah.
I was the worst at it, right? So now they offer this. And this right here, and this is something that maybe you might want to consider for Father's Day. This would be a nice Father's Day gift, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's a real high-end roll. If you're a cannabis consumer, you'll really appreciate something like this. Packaging is really nice. Overall, it looks like it would be a nice little thoughtful gift.
Yeah.
So that would be my recommendation for this right here.
Beautiful.
What do you got there?
So this back muscle joint pain relief, it's CBD and THC infused. And in fact, I asked Umesh to make it stronger. I think he only had 500 milligrams. Now this one's 1,500 milligrams. And I'll tell you this, when my knee was at its most pain, so topically, there's no evidence out there saying that it can be absorbed into like that area. So like if you're rubbing this stuff on and if you're rubbing like pure CBD on, there's no evidence saying that can go through. And in fact, it doesn't make sense for it to do that, because think about your skin. Your elbows are on that table right now. There's germs and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to get soaked in through your elbows, right? Yeah. So people that are taking these like patches and all these other supplements, like medically, they can't get that dose for it to penetrate through the skin. Now, nicotine patches are different, but that's why you have to go to the pharmacy and get them. You know what I mean? Because that's a prescription.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? That's a high level effective use, right? And so, but I'll tell you, when my knee was at its worst, my hip was at its worst because of just the movement patterns. And this was the only thing that I would rub on there, and it would actually immediately like reduce that pain and that. And so I don't know, like evidence, scientific evidence, none. Personal experience, amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's wrap it up there. So your personal experience, and you took that right there and you just placed it on your knee. Is that how you did it?
Yeah, and then I just rubbed it in.
Yeah. All right.
So I just took some CBD.
Okay.
The MC2 oils are stuck in my throat right now, but and like I'm not high at all. So if anybody that's like scared about taking CBD, like literally it's liquid. I'm fasted. We just crushed a workout. Yeah. My muscles are absorbing everything and feel no effects.
One last thing we're going to do. So Umesh was actually going to put together it was supposed to be on April 20th, which is 4/20. It was going to be this invite-only event where you could come. It was a real cool environment at that place we went to, that artist guy downtown.
Okay, yeah.
Remember we were there? That's where he was going to hold the event. But, of course, Corona kicked in and all that got shut down. But it will be happening, and when it does, everybody from Fit Club will be given the invite.
Well, when we open up, too, he always puts a booth, and people can ask questions and pick up products from that. And
yesterday, we were told that we're going to be in groups of 50.
Oh, yeah.
And outside, 25 on the inside. Do you have any insight? Do you want to tell anybody what to expect?
I think now that they're putting us into phase 2, and I think that a lot of this stuff is lifted, and eventually the government's just going to say it's just not necessary, right? So like when they originally opened, and I felt like May 4th was probably too soon, but they did at some point in time they had to pull the trigger and start sampling it out and seeing how it goes. And the fact that we've had like think about the population, how many cases arose. I think there was 10 since they've reopened everything. So I mean, what's the population?
Well, there hasn't been any in the last few days. 4 days.
What's the population of Winnipeg? So now you got a chance, 1.2 chance of getting it. And so I think that the government is eventually just gonna like just let everybody open up, and they seem to be changing everything by the hour. So,
still under strong restrictions, but we'll have no problem doing it. So we're going to end the podcast right over there. Guys, do me a favor, like, comment, and share this video. It helps us tremendously. Vapeup.co.
Bud Index.
Bud Index. And don't forget to go to our YouTube channel, Fit Club Media, and subscribe. Everybody, have a good day.
Yeah.